In the near future, climate change causes environmental collapse and resources become scarce. The elite get to live in nice habitable places called the New World while the lower classes are stuck in a wasteland known as Old World. However, because of the lack of resources, even the elite suffer from very strict regulations. Childbirth is controlled by the government and couples interested in having kids must go through a 7-day assessment to determine if they're suitable to raise a child. One day a young MIA is swimming in the sea when she notices her mother calling her from the shore. She freezes and with just a blink her mother disappears. A panicking MIA starts swimming again as fast as she can, and when she resurfaces she's older because all this had been a memory. Afterward MIA returns to her smart home, which warns her of changes in the weather and keeps track of her exercise and health. She enters a glowing room that allows her to visit the virtual reality created by her husband Arwan, which he uses to design pets. After they discuss their plans for the day, MIA does maintenance on the machines in her greenhouse and takes care of her plants, gathering a few ingredients for dinner. That night after dinner MIA and Aryan discuss how nervous they are because they'll be going through the assessment soon. They end up getting naughty, but MIA can't stop thinking about her memory of the sea. After Aryan falls asleep, she goes to check on her plants again to have some peace of mind. The next day Virginia arrives at the couple's home. She'll be the assessor who will be living with them for a week to decide if they should be parents. If the couple wants to quit to examination at any point, they have the right to. MIA wants to know the criteria they'll be assessed on, but Virginia only says that the less they know, the better. She claims she wants to know the real them. Then Virginia interviews them separately. She makes them talk about their relationship, the details of their naughty time, and their childhoods. MIA explains her mother and her sister were sent to the Old World when she was little, so she doesn't remember them well. Virginia realizes Mia's mother was a dissident and wonders if MIA also has bad opinions against the state, but MIA assures her she doesn't. When Virginia asks why they want a child, they talk about helping the future of society, feeling fulfilled, and giving a child a sense of belonging. MIA says she has that sense now, but when she was a kid she didn't. Afterward the couple gives Virginia a tour of the house. She tests the kid's bed and complains there are loose springs, ignoring the couple when they say that the mattress has no springs. She approves of their bedroom but doesn't look impressed by Aryan's virtual space. Next she visits the greenhouse and finds it curious that the only thing MIA has of her mother's is a flower. Virginia asks for full access to every area of the house, which the couple has already programmed into the AI. She also asks for samples of urine, saliva, blood, hair, and private fluids. The couple already sent those, but she has to double-check in case of cheating. During dinner, Virginia isn't impressed by Mia's rustic dinner made with ingredients from the greenhouse. She asks Aryan about his scar and he explains animal activists attacked him for his invention, which is dumb because his virtual pets exist precisely so the few real animals that are left in the world can be protected. These activists bombed the university research lab and Aryan had to jump through a window to escape. The bombers were sent to the Old World as punishment and MIA thinks that's what they deserve, which makes Virginia wonder if her mother deserved to be sent away too. When the couple goes to bed, Aryan tells MIA that Virginia uses the subject of her mother on purpose to push her buttons, so she should stay calm. Then they start getting dirty only to freak out when they notice Virginia watching them. She explains she has to assess all aspects of their relationship, including this. The couple feels uncomfortable but they really want that child, so they have no choice but to keep going while she watches. The next morning the couple asks Virginia about some mysterious bags of baby food that arrived, but she doesn't answer any of their questions and instead plays with a spoon. When they sit down for breakfast, Virginia starts acting like a child, pushing her bowl or pounding it on the table. MIA gets nervous and Virginia accuses her of raising her voice. Things get awkward when MIA pounds her fist on the table, so Aryan uses some games to feed Virginia. This works and she starts eating by herself, but she also throws food at them. Aryan curses when some food gets in his eye and Virginia keeps repeating the bad words while he rushes to the bathroom to wash up. MIA helps him with some eye drops and they agree on setting some boundaries. When they return to the kitchen, the food is all over the walls and furniture but Virginia is gone. They start searching the house and notice a mess in every room. Aryan's virtual office is making a horrible noise while Virginia dances. The couple tries talking to her but the noise is louder than their voices. Eventually Aryan manages to yell stop loud enough to interrupt the music and tells Virginia this isn't a toy, but she only responds that this test is over. In the evening another mysterious package arrives. Inside there's a toy house for their child and Virginia tells them they have until morning to put it together. The pieces have funny shapes and the instructions aren't very clear, so the couple has lots of trouble building it. When it looks like they've made some progress, the toy collapses. They continue to work hard through the night and finally manage to finish it, but there's a piece left. The instructions say that for safety reasons all pieces must be used, so MIA rushes to the beach and throws the remaining piece into the sea. When Virginia wakes up, she takes a close look and says they've done well. In fact she decides this will be her room and asks the couple for her things. Later Virginia watches Aryan work and shares the story of her dog. When the government called for a cull, she didn't like the idea of her beloved pet dying with a stranger so she killed him herself, which left her crying for days. Aryan invites her to touch the monkey he's designed and she's impressed by how realistic the fur feels, but suddenly she announces she's bored and wants to play a game. By the time MIA comes to check on them, Virginia and Ian are pretending to be wild animals jumping on each other in the jungle. MIA finds it curious because Ian always said his back never recovered from the window jump. The next day they go to the beach and the couple has to make sure that Virginia doesn't go anywhere dangerous. They play hide and seek and MIA gets upset because Ian and Virginia keep finding each other but never her. She also notices that Virginia is calling Ian daddy. MIA tries to join them when they start working on a sand castle, only for Virginia to walk off and start another castle on her own. MIA is starting to wonder if she can do this and Ian reminds her she's not her mother. At that moment they notice Virginia is gone and her shoes are in the water. A wave soon drops Virginia on the sand and MIA rushes to her side to help her out. A cold Virginia walks away from her and MIA can't help snapping, wondering if helping is wrong and if she should have let her drown. Virginia immediately leaves and Ian scolds MIA for reacting like this. On their way home, Virginia asks Ian to carry her. Soon it starts raining and Ian's back hurts, so he has to put her down. MIA volunteers to carry her instead but Virginia says she only wants daddy. When they reach the house Virginia refuses to go in, so MIA tells her she can still hate her inside where it's warm. This convinces Virginia to follow her. Afterward MIA gives Virginia a bath and they have fun together with the bubbles. While brushing her hair, she shares that her mother used to do this for her. MIA even kisses Virginia on the top of her head, finally feeling a connection. Then a letter arrives announcing the couple will be hosting a dinner party tonight, which Virginia confirms is another test. The couple rushes to cook a wonderful meal and put on their nicest clothes. Soon the guests arrive and Virginia bursts out of the toy house pretending to be a child. During dinner Walter tells everyone how MIA used to be a brilliant student of his and his wife Evie looks very annoyed. MIA calls Ian to the kitchen to explain that before they met, she had an affair with Walter and at the time she was so young that she didn't understand he took advantage of her. Clearly Evie knows and hates her for it. Seeing MIA shaking, Ian comforts her and reminds her these people were sent on purpose to get on their nerves so they can't let them win. When they return to the table, MIA has to help Virginia to eat and stop her from choking. Soon another guest arrives and Ian is surprised to see his mother, who isn't happy to be here. Virginia continues to misbehave and MIA tries her best to keep her under control while the adults at the table start arguing if it's a good idea to have kids while humanity lacks resources. Apparently rumors from across the border say that people are healing and reproducing, so rebuilding the old world isn't impossible. As the conversation touches on the subject of population control, Virginia starts running around and MIA follows her until she sits next to the guests. MIA tries to move her and Virginia responds by hitting her. However, MIA takes a deep breath and swears she isn't mad, which helps Virginia finally obey. The group tries to have a lovely toast yet Ian's mother ruins it when she reveals that he tried to have a kid with his previous partner but they were denied. MIA didn't know about this and rushes to the kitchen to take a break. Ian follows her and explains he didn't tell her because he didn't want to upset her, but asks her to talk about this later. When they return to the table, Evie starts talking badly about Mia's mother and all the people in the old world. She also explains she's 153 so she remembers what the world used to be like. Virginia sits on Evie's lap and asks for details, so Evie shares how hard it was to survive when the apocalypse happened. She thinks dividing society into two worlds was necessary to save humanity and young people will ruin it by having more babies. Suddenly Evie gets furious and pushes Virginia off because she peed on her lap. MIA is devastated to see Virginia hurt on the ground and when Evie says that being a bad mother runs in her family, MIA slaps her. After all the guests leave MIA puts Virginia to bed and smiles when she's thanked for defending her. Virginia shocks her by kissing her lips and MIA immediately pulls away. Then MIA goes to her bedroom and argues with Ian for not telling her about trying for a kid with another person, unaware that Virginia can hear them yell. Ian explains he hid it because he didn't want her to think he wasn't good enough. The couple apologizes to each other and admits this is very hard, but at least the assessor will be gone in 2 days. This is also heard by Virginia. In the middle of the night Virginia goes to their bedroom because she's had a bad dream. Ian tells her to go back to her bed but MIA lets her sleep with them. The next day MIA receives a call from the hospital because her sister has had an embolism and is in intensive care. MIA gets ready to travel and Ian thinks it's a bad idea for her to leave while they're still doing the assessment. When they tell Virginia, she says she's allowed to go but this will terminate the assessment process. An argument ensues and MIA says there should be an exception for emergencies. She also points out that going to take care of her sister is a good example to set for a child. Virginia agrees to give her an exception but she must come back before 6 in the morning. That night Ian tries sleeping alone but Virginia climbs on top of him, saying she had a bad dream. Then she starts getting naughty with him, claiming it's part of the assessment and it'll stay between them. Ian tries saying no but Virginia slaps him and keeps going until they're both done. When MIA comes back from her trip she finds them both on the bed and manages to get in the middle. The next morning MIA explains that it wasn't her sister at the hospital, there was a mix-up with someone with the same name. Ian gets suspicious of Virginia, who calls MIA to mommies to make her smile. Afterward MIA asks Ian to keep an eye on Virginia while she goes for a swim. Virginia bothers him while he's working so he tells her they can play later. When she goes outside Virginia tries calling for MIA but she doesn't hear her. As revenge, she goes to the greenhouse and starts destroying everything, including the gas installation and the electric cables. These things combine to start a fire, and Virginia panics as she calls for her parents. The smoke quickly makes her weak and she can barely move, not to mention the falling debris blocks the door. MIA is slowly making her way back but starts running when she sees the smoke in the distance. Ian is working and the house AI has to tell him about an emergency in the greenhouse. He approaches the building but the memories of the bombing incident make him terrified of the fire. MIA is kicking the door but it won't go down because of the debris blocking it. She throws a rock and manages to create a hole in the door big enough to get inside. Virginia is non-responsive, so MIA has to drag her body to the hole and push her out. Once the family is far enough from the fire, MIA has to watch how her beloved project burns down. That night Virginia refuses to eat and leaves the table. MIA follows her to the beach and calls her out for destroying her greenhouse, but Virginia just walks away again. The following day Virginia informs the couple that their application hasn't been successful, so they are not getting a kid. Ian freaks out because it means he cheated for nothing, and MIA is so shocked to hear this that she just starts laughing. Virginia ignores all of Ian's yelling and simply leaves. The couple then has lunch in complete silence. The rest of the day MIA cleans the clubhouse and finds the extra toy piece, which Virginia used to break everything. Furious, she rushes back to her house and destroys the toy with her shovel as she has a breakdown. Ian hugs her tightly until she calms down and announces he has something to show her. He takes her to the virtual room and surprises him with a digital baby girl. MIA holds her with a bright smile for a while but suddenly drops her, explaining the baby smells like nothing and it breaks the immersion. A desperate Ian tries to convince her that they can go back to normal and be happy on their own, but MIA says she can't do this anymore and leaves. Sometime later MIA finds Virginia living in a shoddy apartment. Virginia threatens to call the police, but MIA refuses to leave until she learns why she and her husband failed. After a long argument, Virginia finally reveals nobody has passed in 6 years because of government orders. The assessments are still done just to keep up morale, and the assessors are promised a child of their own if they work hard enough. Most assessors can't handle it and quit after a week. It's revealed Virginia has a dead daughter and she has a breakdown as she explains all the humiliation she's been through to do this job. MIA offers her sympathies and wonders if it's true that life is returning to the old world. Afterward Virginia visits another couple for assessment. However, she can't take it anymore and uses the balcony to self-delete. At home, Ian comforts himself with a virtual reality that has a fake MIA and a grown daughter. MIA goes to the border and after receiving a hazmat suit, she gets to travel to the old world. The weather is terrible but she still removes her mask, ready to reconnect with a natural way of doing things.